What's up, y'all? Sparty here. Someone asked me to do a overview of the manual mode on the LG V30, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna actually just go over the camera overall and just talk about what I love about it and what I dislike about it, because I don't hate anything about the camera modes on this phone. So I'm gonna just let you guys know that right now. Okay, so hi V30. Let me get into this by just saying, short-term review for the camera right now. This camera is great. But to preface it, this camera is great. Crap. This camera is great when you decide that you want to use it outside of auto mode as well. Auto mode is good on this phone. I'm not saying that it's bad at all, because it's definitely not. But what I will say, if the fucking Note 8 will stop unfocusing, what I will say is that a lot of reviewers that haven't touched any of the previous V series phones don't necessarily know what makes the V30 one of the best what makes the V series phones some of the best cameras of their generation, right? Now, I will say one thing here. What you can do here, there's a couple ways you can, access the camera. You can double tap from either the lock screen or double tap the volume down button from the lock screen or with the screen off. There's also a shortcut in your quick toggles in your always on display. And there's also a shortcut right here on your lock screen. So you do that and you get right into it. You could also be like, start a manual video. Really, bitch? Take a wide angle photo. And it'll take the photo. You could also just be like, start up a wide angle photo. Really? Start a wide angle photo. Really, bitch? I won't. Start a manual video. It's not doing it. Fuck it. You could pretty much go into Google and be like, start a wide angle photo, take a wide angle photo, take a regular photo, do all that stuff. Now, we'll say re-exposure on this is very nice. It's very snappy. Focus as well on this is very fast. It's very fast. It's as fast as the Note 8s. And my problem with the Note 8s is that when you lock focus, specifically in video, it doesn't stay focused. And I think that's my main issue overall, is that it doesn't stay focused. Another thing is that you go into these modes here, right? And you have a plethora of modes. And that's what I like about the V series, is that it has a plethora of modes. You go back, you can swipe pretty much on any side of the screen and get back and switch from, front to back cameras. You go into your manual mode here. And the one thing that LG pretty much nailed it, I'll do it like this. LG pretty much made, sorry for my dirty room. They made the manual mode on photos anyway more intuitive and more easier for, say, new people to, manual modes to use. You do this and it will do that. And it'll tell you it's overexposed. Now, this is graphy. And every time you say you adjust a stop or you zoom in or out, it has this very satisfying click. The vibration motor, the haptics of this phone are like very nice. And I like that a lot about it. So you take a photo, you do that, press and hold. Oh, I don't think you can. That's kind of weird. Hold on. I don't think you can. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't think you can take burst shots in manual mode. That's kind of weird. But either way, you can lower it. That looks really cool. Sorry, I haven't used manual mode as much as I did on, say, like my V10. And you could adjust the white balance here, take it, and make it look very cool. It looks very nice too. You press this little adjustment button and it'll readjust, say, your settings for a more optimal look. Okay, so I'm gonna go back down here real quick. And I'm gonna tell you guys now what you can do to figure out what the settings are is that you can go into help here. And it'll essentially tell you what everything is. It tells you where everything is and stuff like that. I'm not the best like camera connoisseur as far as what every single mode means, but white balance is how warm or cool, and you guys can actually hear the little sounds. Say when you do that, it's hard to explain, but you can feel the haptics move with it, right? And it feels very satisfying. You got your manual focus mode, if I can hit it. Oh, I'm in wide angle, so I can't use it, right? You do that, it does the exact same thing on here too. And you get focus peaking, which is something that came in the V20. You get a little green outline right here to show you what's in focus and what's not in focus. If you don't want that, you could just hit the auto button and it'll go back into autofocus. The little auto button right there, you can just hit, it'll go back into autofocus. You got, I don't even know what this is. Give me 1 second. I gotta actually look at that because I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, the EV is to adjust brightness. So it'll adjust the brightness, how bright or how low you want the brightness of the image. ISO is also brightness. Shutter speed does the same thing. This allows you to get, say at night, you decide to have a long shutter speed, it'll get you those streaks that you get in certain, conditions with cars and stuff over a highway. And I will say, the higher you have your ISO or lower you have your ISO and shutter speed, the more your frame rate, specifically in video, will be lower. It'll look lower. It'll feel lower. That's more pretty much every phone does it like that has a manual mode, but it looks nice nonetheless. So white balance, how cool or warm you want a picture. Focus is obviously focus. EV is brightness adjustment, ISO. does pretty much the same thing, but it gives you more detail. Shutter, it gives you more detail, so the higher you have it, say at night and stuff like that, the higher you have it at night and whatnot, it will show more grain in a picture and stuff like that. The lower you have it, the more detail you get. Shutter speed it allows you, as I said, it keeps the shutter open for a bit longer. So say you want a long exposure shot over a highway of some cars and stuff like that, you can definitely have that. Now, manual mode on the video, I don't know why I exited the app. Manual video mode is the same that you would pretty much get on, say, the V20 or V10. The only difference between this and the V20 is that you don't get mic directions. You also have that on the V10. I think you don't get that either. But the thing that you do get in video is that your receiver acts like a microphone as well. I touched on this in my video sample with this phone. And it basically allows you, whenever you focus on a certain subject, it will pretty much focus on that specific part of the subject and make that more accentuated rather than everything else in the background that will get blown up in the process as far as sound goes. Everything else is pretty much the same. Autofocus, all that stuff is the same. They could put your wind noise filter on, you'll be able to like make it so that wind isn't, messing with your audio as terribly. You could choose to have hi-fi sound, hi-fi audio, and that's very nice. The problem with that is, say if you do multiple clips at once, there aren't a lot of video editing apps that allow you to, stitch video clips together without fucking the audio up, so you wouldn't be able to do that. So typically what I do is I just turn that off. If you're just doing one clip and you just send it to YouTube or wherever, it'll be a-okay. But any sort of video editing app will definitely crush that audio, and you won't be able to hear stuff. It'll sound jumbled and stuff like that. A timer is obviously, you set a timer. Say you want to take a picture of everybody, including you. You can set a timer, run to the thing, and have it take the photo. Very straightforward. Covered lens, it's basically, it doesn't work very well, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it'll essentially just tell you when your lens is covered. I haven't really had my lens covered, so it doesn't. Grid obviously allows you to, have a grid in your picture so that you can see where stuff is placed in a specific way. And you can have stuff placed in a specific part of your video and stuff like that. Cinelog and Cinevideo, that's something you use. I'm not sure why it's not. Oh yeah, because I can't have it in wait, what? It has to be 1080p, I think that's why. Storage, you can change the SD card. Help if you need any help with that. Now, the one thing I don't like is with the HDR. It's in this menu when you say you're using. It's in the menu and it's not any toggle when you're in the base camera app. See, it's right there. I normally have it on auto because I don't want it to make pictures. I don't want it. It's nowhere near as good as it is on a Pixel or anything where it has 0 to no lag. But I will say that when you're using HDR, but I will say that when it comes to something like the V30's camera, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this camera that you can't do with a lot of cameras, and that's what makes it unique. And that's another video I'm going to make here in a bit, where I'm going to talk about what can you do now to make phones unique again. And that's what I'm going to touch on in my next video. But as far as the V30, as far as it basically being a good successor to the V series, I think it does a great job in its camera department. And that's where I pretty much relied on it to excel at. But as far as this goes, that's it. I need some water. My throat is dry as shit. But oh, excuse me. This is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. I recorded 5 videos in a row. So I hope you guys have a good Wednesday or whatever time of day it is in your area. Have a good one.